All right, so I appreciate you stopping to talk, and you asked me why should you guys be vegan. Do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Yeah, my name's Jack.
Jack.
My name's Toby.
Toby. Brandon, nice to meet you. Jack, Toby. All right. So first off, I'm going to... Oh, all right, it should fly away. There we go. All right. So first off, I'll start by defining veganism, and then you guys can tell me what you agree or disagree with, right?
Okay.
So veganism is an ideology that rejects the commodity status of animals, right? So that means we don't want to kill them, abuse them, or use them for food, clothing, entertainment, etc., right? So yeah, it's all right to laugh. You can do whatever you want. So I guess with that definition, what exactly do you disagree with?
Honestly, I'm not so sure.
Okay. So sure that you agree or disagree?
I agree that animals should have freedom.
Okay. All right. How about you? Disagree?
Yeah.
Okay. So what about that do you disagree with?
I think that it just doesn't really matter, and like that we have too many animals.
Really? Okay. So I'm definitely going to take it to the next step, but I want to address your concern. So do you know why we have so many animals?
Because they produce and like.
No, not exactly. So I believe it's over 95% of animal products are factory farm. So factory farm implies that human involvement implies industry, right? So we slaughter, just counting land animals, we slaughter billions of animals every year. In order to get those billions of animals to meet the demand, we actually have to breed them artificially. So they're not reproducing naturally. We create that many animals. So if there wasn't a demand for animal products, we wouldn't actually have to have as many animals. We wouldn't have to slaughter them, right? So we only slaughter them because people want those products, right? So, and you also said it doesn't matter. How about dog abuse? Do you think we should be allowed to kill and abuse dogs?
No,
No. And why does that matter?
because they're pets.
Right, but apart from the label that we've given them, right? Because dogs weren't always pets; they used to be wild. Apart from the label that we've given them, why does a dog's experience matter?
Because they're my pet.
Forget about your pet. Would you eat or abuse a stranger's dog?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay. So the answer we're kind of aiming towards is the reason why you can recognize that a dog's life matters is because they have sentience. And sentience is the ability to experience pain, experience joy. Like if you pet your dog, they're nice, they cuddle up to you. If you step on their tail, they squirm or or bark, whatever, right? They are actively showing you that they don't like something or they do like something, right? That's sentience. So cows, chickens, pigs are just as sentient as dogs. Pigs are actually more intelligent than dogs. So if you agree that a dog's experience matters, then the only logical extension or position you could have is agreeing that cows, chickens, and pigs' experience matters, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So you said that you think all animals should be free, right? So I know you guys are young, so you guys probably live at home. We all were fed animal products. I wasn't vegan for 18 years of my life, but I've been vegan for almost 7 now. Is there something that would, and I'm going to ask both of you, but is there something that would stop you specifically from being vegan? At least, obviously, within your ability living at home, you know, because eventually you're going to be an adult, you're going to be making. So is there something that would stop you from being vegan?
Honestly, probably protein intake.
Okay.
Because I play football, and what's important to me is bulking.
Sure.
So I do like the idea of consuming protein, but if I were to be vegan, there's many other ways that I can intake protein.
Got it, man. You got it, yeah. So exactly right. I actually talked to 3 football players, I think, a couple weeks ago, and their biggest concern was macros, right? Getting your protein, getting enough calories. You can, as long as you're eating enough food, right? If your goal is to bulk, it's all about calories, right? So if you got to eat 4,000 calories, as long as you're eating a well-balanced diet, there's vegan protein, there's vegan protein supplements. There's, like you said, there's plenty of plant-based options for protein, whether it be mock meats, whether it be whole grains like rice, beans, legumes like lentils, chickpeas. So there are plenty of ways to get protein. So if, you know, what I would urge you, if you agree with the position of veganism, if you agree that animals shouldn't be used and abused, right, or killed, despite your own goals of wanting to bulk and play football, I would urge you to find out how to educate yourself on how to do that yourself. And I actually, or like on a plant-based diet, and I do have a resource, so I'm going to give you a resource that'll give you links to how to eat, what to swap out. What about you? What would stop you from being vegan?
Stop me, definitely protein because I'm also trying to bulk.
Okay.
Go vegan. Definitely that, and yeah, because like vegetables, like it takes up a lot of like it fills you up, and like it doesn't really give you much.
Well, like I mentioned, vegans, there's plenty of protein sources. Vegetables are not one of them. Vegetables are great for micronutrients and vitamins and minerals. But in terms of protein, there's rice and beans, there's chickpeas, black beans, lentil soup, lentils that you can cook into soup. You have whole grains like oatmeal. You have nut butters like peanut butter, almond butter. There's an endless amount of combinations, not to mention mock meat like Beyond Burgers, Gardein. You have, Impossible Burgers. You have different ways. If you wanted to replicate that and get a similar protein to meat, there are ways of doing it now, right? So besides the health, which I think we've addressed, how you can, just with a little bit of change to how you view your food, if you can get all your protein and you can get all your calories, is there anything that would stop you from going vegan?
I don't know. It's also easier to get like the food, that normal food.
I would say that when it comes to restaurants, it may be a little more convenient, but convenience doesn't justify an action, right? So like if it was more convenient for me to, hit somebody in the street versus waiting for them to cross, right? Just because it's more convenient, it doesn't justify me harming another sentient animal just because I want to or because it's convenient, right? And I would argue also that if we're talking about grocery shopping, it's just as convenient. It's just about moving to a different aisle. Restaurants, I can name 6 restaurants right here in Plymouth that have vegan options. So, I understand you came into the conversation saying it doesn't matter. Do you understand why it matters, or would you still hold that position that it doesn't matter?
I see why it matters now.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So obviously, you guys seem young. Like I said, you live at home. I urge you to, it's always good to bring more stuff home, educate your family, but do what you can. Obviously, if you can get vegan, or if they buy what you want, I'm gonna give you the card with resources. But when you're an adult, it's important to think about what our actions are contributing to and what our money's going towards, right?
I have a question though,
yeah.
What is there any downsides of being vegan that you know of?
So when you say downsides, with any diet, whether it be omnivorous, which is meat and plants, or all plants, you need to make sure you're getting all your nutrients, micronutrients, macronutrients. A lot of time, most people should be supplementing certain vitamins like B12 maybe, or vitamin D. So the only downside to a diet is, as well, it depends on how well you actually eat, right? Most people who eat meat, they're incredibly unhealthy. They're overweight, or they're, getting heart disease, or they have a different health problems, right? So it's not the diet itself, it's how you do it. So if you do it well, just like eating, animal products, you can be healthy, and there's no downside. In fact, the best research we have shows that vegans are at the lowest risk of most of our chronic diseases, like heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure. So, any other questions or any other comments?
I think they want to join.
Sure, yeah, I would love to talk. So, hey, good talk, guys. I'll say hello, so you guys can talk. I appreciate it. Do you want to start by introducing yourself?
I'm Paige.
Paige?
Yeah. I'm Zoe.
Zoe, nice. Paige, Zoe, Brandon, nice to meet you. So you guys, unlike those guys, you guys didn't actually explicitly say what has interested you to talk. So do you guys want to share what is intriguing?
All right. Well, my friend actually, we were down here a couple weeks ago, and she saw you, and then we were like, and I was like, did you go talk to him? And she was like, no, and I was like, why? So I want to know what it's about.
Okay, perfect.
You're holding a sign. I gotta come talk to you.
Okay. So fair enough. So I guess first off, I want to get clarification. Are either of you vegan?
No.
No, vegetarian.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So veganism, I'm going to define it, and then you tell me if you disagree, agree. So veganism is an ideology that rejects the commodification of animals, right? So that means we don't want to use them, abuse them, or kill them for food, clothing, entertainment, etc. Right? We want them to have the basic right to life, right? So we want to reduce the rights violations we cause. So what about that? Do you agree with or disagree with?
Everything there that you kind of said, like, I agree with.
You agree with?
It
Okay.
makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the animals were probably here before us. It's like their place, and I don't feel like we should be disturbing them to profit us as a species.
Okay. Yes. All right. Nice. All right. So I'm glad we're on the same page there. So as we're in agreement, and obviously, I'm an adult, right? So I get to choose where I put my money to. You guys seem younger, right? So
Yeah.
You guys living at home?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously, you may not have jobs yet. You may not have. So you got to work with your families. But what I would say is, if you agree that we shouldn't be using, killing, abusing animals for all those things, especially when we don't have to. When there's nothing nutritionally in animal products that we need that we can't get from plants or from fortification. So the nutrition is covered. So I guess from here, what would stop you from going vegan?
Probably just like the habit part of like you're so used to eating it, so you're just like.
I mean, yeah, like at this point, it's kind of like you're so used to it. It's such a part of day-to-day life that it's like, how do you change from that like so quickly?
Yeah. So what I always say, because I wasn't vegan for 18 years, right? I've been vegan for almost 7, but I spent, until I was 18, I was eating animal products, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a couple things. I always recommend to start with one meal, right? So if you're conditioned to be eating a certain way, right? Like we all were or are, swapping out one meal, if that works, so instead of eating, I don't know, rice, chicken, and broccoli or something, eat rice, beans, and broccoli, right? Or eat some type of alternative that fits your life, like your tastes. And if that works, keep doing it. Start with another meal. And there's plenty of vegan recipes. I'm sure you guys have phones or computers. There's so many. I have resources too that'll help. So, and you don't even have to cook. So like, let's say you wanted a quick snack, because I cook very little. There's a lot of pre-made, healthy vegan options that are quick, that will get the job done, because I do a lot. So I usually am microwaving, or I am making quick meals, or eating a lot of fruit. So it's definitely doable. And when it comes to the convenience aspect, I would argue that like it's gonna be different at first, right? It's gonna be a change, but I would say that change is worth not contributing to the death of billions of sentient animals. So any other questions or concerns or?
No.
I've got one actually.
Go for it.
In your beginning spiel, you talked about other animal products other than food. How would you suggest steering away from those? I think you mentioned clothing or something, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean, to be honest, unless you're most things are vegan, just synthetic, you don't really have most, and also affordable products are usually vegan. Really unless you're buying leather jackets or you don't have to try that hard, or fur on your coats. Yeah. But pretty much that means obviously no leather, no fur, nothing that has animal products in it to the best. Obviously, if let's say you guys go vegan, tomorrow, let's say, right? If you have a pair of leather boots, don't throw them out. You can use them, right? Because you've already had them, or you can sell them, or you can donate them, whatever you want to do. It's just going forward. It's making sure, being conscious of going, okay, I don't want to support the leather industry or the fur industry or that stuff. And you mentioned vegetarianism. Do you I don't know how educated you are, but do you know the dairy and egg industry, why vegans are against dairy and eggs?
No, I do not.
Okay, so I'll explain that a little bit. So the dairy and egg industry contributes to just as many rights violations and death as the meat industry. So with dairy, obviously, in order for a cow to produce milk, they have to be pregnant, right? So they're normally forcibly impregnated. And then when the cow gives birth to that baby, they take the baby away, right? Because the baby wants to drink the milk. So they take the baby away, usually within a few hours to a few days. That baby either gets slaughtered, put back into the dairy industry, or used maybe if it's a bull or something used for insemination purposes. And then with the dairy cow, we milk the cow until we can't anymore, and then they get slaughtered anyway. So that's really the big reason why veganism is against dairy. Same thing with eggs. Any fertilized egg that hatches a rooster, because it's a male chicken, they're useless to the egg industry, so they just get thrown alive in a blender. And there's footage. It's all like, I don't recommend looking at it. If you are able to be convinced without seeing the footage, I don't recommend it. But it is online. It's all there. There's a great documentary called Dominion, which is just, again, I don't recommend watching it. I'm not condoning it. But if you need to see it in order to like get it, it's out there. So, but yeah, I appreciate the conversation. Anything else? Any other comments?
No, but thank you.
Yeah.
I just got a recommendation. I watched this documentary like maybe a year and a half ago. I don't know, but it's called Cowspiracy. I don't know if you've-
Cowspiracy, yep.
Yes, that one.
Fantastic, yep, about the
Very
environment.
Good, very
yep.
good. Yes.
Yep, and then they had another one called What the Health, which was about the health. If you haven't seen that, recommend it. It's pretty good.
All right.
And then they have the slaughterhouse footage. But the Cowspiracy, that was a big one for me. When I watched that, I was like, forget about just seeing, because there's a scene in Cowspiracy where they put a duck on the table. I don't know if you remember this. They put a duck on the table and they just cut its head off in front of all the children. And I was like, yeah, that's enough for me. I was like, if that's, and that was like a local family-friendly farm. If that's as good as it gets, forget about it. So
that makes perfect
yeah.
sense.
But here, I'll give you the cards.
Oh, sweet.
So check
Thank
it out.
you.
My website, it has a ton of resources, and I have a YouTube channel, obviously. So check it out.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.